TikTok staying in the US? If it does, what does that mean for people in the US themselves? What does that mean for people outside of the US? Let's get into it. If you're new here, I'm Cal, big old TikTok nerd who's in the weeds of the algorithm every day. So make sure you drop us a follow for daily TikTok growth content. Now, the most recent development on the TikTok US ban is that Trump signed an executive order which he says has saved the US from having no access to TikTok, where essentially it allows a big bunch of blue chip American investors to buy the US version of TikTok from China themselves. As far as I'm aware, it doesn't look like China's officially agreed to this, but Trump said it's basically a verbal agreement at this point. But what does this all mean? Well, it means American investors will have control over a new version of the app, which will be TikTok US, which has some pretty big implications for everybody on the current app right now. So if you're a US user, if all of this goes through, which will probably take a little while, you'll essentially be forced to download a new app. And when you're on this new app, you'll only be able to view content and engage with people from the US themselves. And the algorithm and the advertising will be fully owned and fully controlled by all of the American investors. So the algorithm that you've come to love will no longer be the algorithm that you'll get, which means you'll have a different reach, you'll have a different audience. The way you're monetizing now might actually be completely different. What works now will be completely different. So if anyone in the US wants to be really serious about TikTok, you've got to get your experimenting hat on. And as soon as you get access to this, you need to be learning what the algorithm's all about. But the wider implication is what happens to the algorithm as a whole, the new version of the app and the app that's staying for everybody else, when you remove American influence from it. Even for our own account, I think we're at like 15 to 25% of our entire audience is from the US. The engagement that 15 to 25% of people who are giving us millions of views every month will have a severe impact on the overall reach of our content. And other countries who rely on US users to engage with their content, they're going to struggle. And US content creators who get a lot of engagement from elsewhere, they're going to struggle. So there are a few things we're going to take away from this. If you're making money on TikTok now and you want to become TikTok famous, whether you're in the US or you're not in the US, it's still going to be a possibility because the likelihood is everyone's still going to have access to it. However, there's going to be a massive swing on both apps in the algorithm and what's getting rewarded as soon as this rolls out. We saw it when TikTok was banned for 12 hours in January and the ripple effect that caused. I got loads of other thoughts on this and loads of ideas of what people inside the US and outside the US can do. So if you want me to make a follow-up on all that, just comment part 2 and I can get that out. Stop treating your TikTok views like a lottery and start looking at it as a strategy. Most people are stuck at low views on TikTok because they're getting their videos pushed out to completely random people. On an app of hundreds of millions of users, what are the chances that the first 300 people your video ends up in front of are going to like the topic of your video? Almost nothing. And that's why a lot of people are stuck at low views, because they're treating it like a lottery. But if you want to break out, I'm going to explain how to turn it into a strategy so you end up in front of the right people so you actually get consistently high views. So make sure you save this so you can come back to it later and follow for daily TikTok growth content. Now, what we're going to talk about here is TikTok SEO, which stands for Search Engine Optimization. And yes, TikTok is a search engine. I can explain that in another video, but we'll just work on getting your video categorized here. You can use TikTok SEO as a tool to get your video categorized to a keyword or phrase. Once your video is categorized, TikTok can then put your video in front of people who have expressed an interest in that category before. Hopefully you can see how that removes 99% of the luck element behind getting views and going viral on TikTok. And the way you do TikTok SEO is by using keywords or phrases throughout your video that help TikTok understand what your video is about. If you identify a keyword or phrase and you use it in the audio of your video, you use it in your descriptions, you use it in your hashtags, then TikTok's pretty likely to categorize your video as what the video is about, which is good. The big problem here is that TikTok SEO isn't that simple. You have to go after categories that TikTok understands and has categorized videos as before. And you do this by searching in TikTok search a keyword or phrase that you hope would best describe the video you're going to make, having a look at the videos that are coming up, clicking the ones that have got views, and having a look at the search bar at the top. Whatever's in the search bar at the top will be the category that TikTok understands that video to be about. And that's the category you treat as a keyword or phrase that you speak throughout the video, using your descriptions, using your hashtags. Obviously, there's a lot more to go into here, like when you're in front of the right people, how do you actually get them to stop scrolling and watch your video? That's why we've got our free TikTok growth community where we're teaching people how to do this. And we've had people like Susan go from low views to gaining over 100,000 followers within a few months. So if you want access to the free bite-sized version of this, click the link in our bio and I'll see you over there.
Talking in front of a storefront, and you take Alex Hormozi's topic, 3 things you should do for looking for a spouse and an investor, and now you make that video. Now I want to be very clear, that is still too close to a replication. You want to add your own variables. Maybe it's not 3 things to look for in a spouse as an investor. Maybe your niche is as a wholesale real estate investor. So now you get niched down a little bit. Maybe you go wider TAM. You stretch the TAM and it's not just investor. Maybe you say as a millionaire. Okay, it's like a little bit wider of a TAM. You play that game, but you use the 5 people in your niche in the top 5 videos. You break their videos into topics and formats, and then you play a game of mismatching of the puzzle to find the content format. Okay, I want to talk about one more thing. Not only can you find this in the top people in your niche, but you can find it in the comments of your own videos. This is gold, okay? I work with this guy who is a gamer. He's a streamer. He has 25,000 followers on TikTok, but he was not getting great views. They were underneath 1,000. What we did, we took a topic, which was commenting on the new skins in the game. This was something that we were seeing other people in his niche that were doing, and they were winning. Okay, so we took a topic there. He had his format that we knew worked, so we kept the format. But we needed to now make it better. We're not just going to make the exact same video of the top people in the niche. So we went into his comments, and there was a disproportionate amount of comments specifically talking about a certain skin. It was a Venom skin, okay? And so we knew we need to make the Venom skin the core of this video. It doesn't have to be what the whole thing, doesn't have to be what the whole video is about, but the Venom skin has to be in the video. It needs to be in the front of the video because most people are going to see the front of the video. And we need to potentially twist the knife a little bit, maybe say something we don't like about the Venom video. Maybe we need to use a curiosity gap in the Venom video to where it's like, hey, I'm going to talk about the Venom skin at the end of this video. Either way, the video's backbone had to kind of revolve around this Venom skin. It's getting a little bit complex here, but we took a format from pre-existing knowledge that it works with him. We took a topic from the top people in his niche, which was rating skins or talking about weekly skins. And then we took the context from his comments, the Venom skin. And we put it all together in his 3rd video, got 45,000 views. This was a couple days ago. It's probably up to 50, 60. Is this making sense? I want this to make sense to you.